What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out the Jeep License by TruShield low profile hard trifold tonneau cover with the Jeep logo fitting all 2020 and newer JT Gladiators. Now if your JT did not come with a tonneau cover from the factory and you don't want to pay that expensive Mopar price point, but you still want a solid cover that's backed by the Jeep brand, then this is going to be a great solution. This OE Plus style cover will give you all of the security, protection, and style benefits that your JT needs, while also being very easy to use whether you need to access your bed frequently or just once in a while. This cover has a list of benefits, and starting with the obvious, this will completely cover the bed and all of the contents in it and protect them from poor weather and the harsh sun. Now, specifically being a lockable hardcover, this is also going to provide you trusted security for the valuables that are in your bed, while also just deterring any nosy eyes in the process. When you need to access your bed though, it's going to be incredibly easy. You just lower your tailgate, pull the release strap on the back of the cover, fold it back and secure it into place with the heavy-duty buckles and nylon straps to ensure it's not going to move or bounce around while you're driving, which gives you the flexibility to have it in either position when you're driving. Now, one of the best benefits aside from the usefulness is the low-profile appearance that it has, which is really going to clean up the look of the back of your truck, which will make your JT just look a lot more finished. This is durable with a full aluminum build to it, so it definitely will pass the knife test if someone tries to puncture their way in to your bed. Now the top of the cover and the panels will also have a wrinkled texture to it, which I think adds a little bit more ruggedness to the cover. Now on top, all of the components that you see will have a matte black powder coat to it that is going to protect all of the aluminum underneath from any corrosion, keeping this looking new for years to come, even if it is sitting outside and on your bed exposed to the elements. Now the borders of this cover will also come with some foam, and you're also going to have some rubber material on the outside to keep all of that weather and that moisture out, but it also does come with drain tubes, so you can ensure that no water is going to sit inside your bed if it does get in. This cover will come in at about $800, and compared to other hard folding covers on the site, this will be right in the middle. Now, with how many bed covers there are out there, choosing what kind will come down to your personal preference in what you're looking for as far as your priorities are concerned and your overall application. Now, I think if you have your eye on a hard trifold specifically, that this is going to be a great price point, especially for what's included in this kit. Now, the low profile build and the very easy to fold and secure functions will be great out of this cover, but it's also backed by Jeep, which is going to give it that high scale yet factory style appeal that you may want for your Gladiator. Now, install for this will be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and should only take you about an hour or so to get this onto your truck with some basic hand tools. Now, if you don't want to tackle this yourself, this is eligible for our recommended shop install program, where we will set you up with a shop that's local to you at a set low cost, and you can check out more information about the program on the product page if you'd like. However, if you do plan on installing this yourself or are just interested in a detailed breakdown of the install, we can head over to the shop and check it out on our JT right now.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet and 10 and 17 millimeter sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing a tonneau cover on our Gladiator, so let's get started. Now before we start installing our tonneau cover, the first thing we're going to do is take our weather strip and we're going to stick it down across the front side of the bed. We have a double-sided tape backing that we can peel off, stick it down, and you might need some scissors to trim the other end. Now for demonstration purposes, we're not going to be installing this, but it's just as simple as peeling off the backing and laying it right down. So the first thing we need to do is assemble our side rails. Now these come from the factory with the mounting provisions for the trail rail system. We don't have that on our Gladiator, so we're going to be removing these and swapping them for the clamp style brackets. So we have two 10 millimeter nuts on each. We'll take a 10 millimeter socket to remove those and swap those over. So now we'll take a 10 millimeter socket and remove these two nuts. And now with our new bracket, we're just going to match up that orientation. Drop that on. Thread on our two nuts. And then tighten that down with our 10 millimeter socket. then you can do that same thing for the other bracket on this rail. Now on the end of our rail that has this little L-shaped cutout, we're going to be installing our bracket. This is where our tonneau cover is going to mount to our rail. So we have these little lips right here that we're going to slide these little hooks into. And then we can slide that on, and then we can mount our drain tube into the side of the rail here. And then you can repeat that whole process for your other rail. So now we're ready to mount our side rail. So we're gonna raise this up onto the side of our bed. And then this hook on our bracket is gonna go behind the side here. And then you can grab a 17mm socket and tighten down the bolts on the clamp. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can take our drain tube and we're gonna run it through the hole right by our wheel arch. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. So now I've got the tonneau cover lifted up onto our rail. We have this hole in the bracket here that we're gonna have to line up with the hole in the tonneau cover, and then we can put our bolt through to mount this to our rails. So now we're gonna take our bolt with the rubber washer and drop it through the hole and through the bracket, and then we'll go underneath and install our nuts.
So now we can come underneath to our bolt that we just pushed through, and we're gonna put on a lock washer, and then we can thread on our knob. And then with our knob tightened down, we can thread on our wing nut. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. Now, last thing we need to do is hook our strap to our bracket. We have a hole right down here. So let's pop that on and do that same thing on the other side.
So that'll wrap up this review and install of the officially licensed Jeep low profile hard trifold tonneau cover with Jeep logo for your 2020 and newer Jeep Gladiator JT. Thank you for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.